on for the last 8 years. And I just want to add to what Lou said. She forgot to tell you guys that my daughter fell through the wetlands before being diagnosed with polyarthritis. She fell through the wetlands ice skating. Okay? Just wanted to
Before all this came to the light.
As I was walking around the community after finding out certain things about the Parker Street Way site, I started knocking on doors, and like I said in the last meeting, kids with autism like my son, kids with skin rashes, severe behavioral problems. Their parents think that they're the worst parents in the world because their kids have these things, and they do the best that they can and the best that they know how. But these kids still have these issues. Nobody lives closer to the city yard, and if you look at some of my pictures, the city yard actually at one point, they had cars all in there. I spoke to the environmental steward last week or the week before, Alphonse, and I asked him where those cars were, and he can't give me an answer. It's rumored that they could be buried in the city yard. The city will not let the EPA test the city yard, and as a resident of West Lawn, nobody lives closer to that city yard than we do. I have a right as a mom, as a resident of West Lawn, and a resident of the city of New Bedford to know what am I living there. Across the street is Walsh Field. On Smith Street to Lindsay Street, that whole area, when it rains, it floods. And when the field floods, the streets flood, and it all goes this way. Now, from what we know, there's contamination in that field. Is it coming this way? Probably. Are we affected? Most likely. We had a coal-powered, a man-powered coal plant that is now the maintenance building. Where is all that coal ash? Where did they bury it? I mean, we can escape it. It's in front of us. But the city is testing the field. It's on the right side of us, possibly, and the city's refusing to let the EPA test that area. I see the EPA in there every morning on the opposite side, and it's very frustrating to know they are possibly in a hot spot, and they're not even allowed to test there. There's too many kids, too many coincidences. I mean, as a resident of the city of New Bedford, I hope that the health department can help pressure the city of New Bedford to let the EPA test that city yard. I want to know what's there. My children have a right to know what's there, and I'm just not getting answers anywhere. You know, you have references from the ATSDR. Well, when we had an informational session, my booth was right next door to them. And believe me, I pounded them with answers, and they don't give answers. They don't give answers. They give roundabout answers. It's ridiculous. I'm sick of getting the runaround. I need to let my kids' doctors know exactly what's going on. I need to know what possibly contamination could affect their health, could affect my health. I have to worry about my son. God, am I going to die of cancer? I mean, my autistic son, who's going to take care of him? Is the city of New Bedford? No, I'm just sick of it, and as the health department, I hope you're going to be on our side. We need as much help as we possibly can, and just represent us the way that we feel that we should be. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, last representative from Central Heights.
That's you.
Jim?
Jim.
State your name and address, please.
My name is Jim Crandall. I lived at 342 Hathaway Boulevard for 11 years. I'm not real good with statistics, numbers. I do know 4 months ago I was diagnosed with cancer. I think a lot was said that you people have the means to find out what's going on. Doctors don't want to hear it or don't know. I know Mary, she's exhausted her funds trying to find out what's wrong with her. I don't know, you know, people have to do something. there's people dying.
Thank you, Jim.
That concludes it. That concludes it.
Would anybody else like to have a few words? Well, we appreciate everyone coming
I
tonight.
love what you do.
I know that a lot of you now have the question, what's next? What can we do? What are we going to do? We hear you and we care, and that's why we're listening to you. Just a few comments. The state has done some studies. I know it's not as comprehensive as you're looking at, but you can get some idea of some information. They do cancer registries. They keep track of the asthma rates for each city in the state. So you can get an idea of whether New Bedford seems to be higher than other areas in the state. So that is something that's available from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and we have that resource for you. So if you want to get some answers about the cancers, they actually break it down into specific cancers for the city. And they do investigate if it does look like we have an elevated level of a specific kind of cancer compared to other cities in the state. So that might be something you might want to look into. So they do some studies on the different diseases that you guys have spoken about tonight. So for that. So a few things I've heard that you would like from us would be, one is to have a comprehensive health study of faculty, but it sounds like for the city-wide. That would be one thing you were interested in. The other one is to discuss with the city about allowing the EPA to test the soil that they're not testing. That was another request. And so these are requests that we will forward to them and discuss with the various agencies that could help us. Unfortunately, the health department does not have the resources to do this. That's why we would need other agencies to be involved. And what we can do is advocate and pass those concerns on, and then from there, I'm not sure how it will progress. So you see that we have the tools. Unfortunately, our health department is a local, we have limited resources, and so we don't specifically do. So that would be something we left to the other agencies, the state and the federal level. That's why those people are doing the testing for you. So from here on, there will be more information coming out based on the soil samples. The TCB serum results, those will be coming out in the next few months. And we will be getting that information, and it will probably be made public. And if at any point after those results come back and you want to request another hearing to discuss that and see if there's any other way to move forward, we'd be happy to have you.
Sure. They mentioned about this EPA testing. What sites in particular?
What sites are you specifically saying that they're refusing?
Well, the city will not let the EPA test the city yard and Walsh Field.
So we can.
And those are not residential areas, so why are those important?
Because nobody lives closer to those areas than the residents of Westlawn. Literally, I can read the license plate off of the trucks in there, and you weren't here, but see some of those cars in there, that's all the city yard. And I spoke to the environmental steward at Scott Alphonse, and he can't tell us where those cars are. It is rumored that those cars are buried in the city yard under the pavement. I have a right to know what am I living next door to.
I thought they were testing Walsh Field.
The city is. I want the EPA, the federal agency, to test Walsh Field and to test the city yard that I live to the right of.
Test, what are you looking for?
I want the same kind of results that the answers that they're doing, in the 104 acres of the other land. I want them to drill just like they're drilling everywhere else. Take soil samples. What's in that soil? What's there? That all floods, that all flows this way towards my area. I want to know what I'm living beside.
Are they testing where you live?
Yes, they are. And then the city's testing in front of, in Walsh Field, but nobody's touching the side to me. That's uncharted territory. And to me, it feels like you don't want us to test there. You don't want that to be touched. What are you hiding there? What's hidden there that you don't want us to know? Because if you're hiding something, I have a right to know, and